This is the Fernando Tatís Jr. we expected.
Driven deep in front, the bat of Nando, it'll ride out of here!
This is the power. This is the speed. This is the defensive deftness that we figured would make Tatis a superior San Diego superstar. The timing is different, the position is different, and the road has been rockier than anyone thought it would be. But the five-tool Tatis, the healthy, MVP-worthy Tatis, has arrived in 2025, and it has been quite a sight to behold.
If Fernando Tatís, takes his walks and manages the strike zone like he's doing now, it's you're going to continue to see what you're seeing now, and that's elite offensive capability.
Tatis has powered the Padres in the young season. He entered the week as the National League wins above replacement leader. He was on pace for a 40-homer, 40-steal campaign, while also at the top of his position in outs above average. On a Padres team that had a quiet offseason, and whose roster looks quite a bit different than the one that reached the NLCS in 2022, or even the one that pushed the mighty Dodgers to the brink in the NLDS just last year, the total package provided by Tatis has been a blessing. What we're seeing is not just a player fully realizing his elite potential, but doing so after shaking off the setbacks that came with unforeseen injuries and a self-inflicted wound to the reputation. Tatis's promise was put on the professional brink, but now, in his age 26 season, the one we call El Nino, or little boy, seems to have grown up right in front of our eyes. From the time he signed with the Chicago White Sox as an international free agent a decade ago, Tatis's name has been known to many fans. After all, he is the son of Fernando Tatís, the former MLB infielder who, as a member of the Cardinals on April 23, 1999, became the first and still only player in history to hit 2 grand slams in a single inning.
Swing and a long one! There it is, folks! Baseball history!
In following in his father's footsteps on the fields in the Dominican Republic, the younger Tatis earned a reputation among certain scouts for his makeup and maturity. He had a strong arm and fluid actions at shortstop, and he had a knack for barreling the ball. Still, teams didn't fall over themselves to land Tatis. The White Sox landed him for less than $1 million, a pittance when compared to the $3.9 million the Blue Jays paid in that same signing period to land a different player with big league pedigree in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. While in the Chicago system, Tatis's profile grew. Literally. His height increased by about 2 inches in less than a year. And as he played in the Arizona Fall League in 2015 and in extended spring training camp in 2016, scouts paid attention. Those scouts included reps from the San Diego Padres, who were in the midst of a major transition. Prior to the 2015 season, the Padres, coming off 4 straight losing seasons, had traded for Justin Upton, Matt Kemp, and Will Myers to create what looked like an all-star outfield. They landed one of the game's greatest closers in Craig Kimbrell, and they bestowed a franchise record free agent guarantee to starting pitcher James Shields. The result was one of the biggest busts in recent memory. The 2015 Padres actually won 3 fewer games than they had the previous year. And in 2016, the Friars Funk had them 13 games under 500 and 12 and a half back in the NL West by the end of May. It was time for the Padres to punt. The White Sox, on the other hand, were in the hunt for the AL Central. And because they hadn't reached October in 8 years, they sought to strengthen their rotation, honing in on the 34-year-old Shields. With the Padres willing to kick in more than half of Shields' remaining contract, a sum of around $30 million, the Sox were willing to deal a 26-year-old right-hander named Eric Johnson and a good piece from their prospect pool. On June 4th of that year, the Sox made what can only be described as a short-sighted move in forking over a 17-year-old Tatis. At the time of the trade, Tatis had yet to even make his professional debut in an actual regular season game in the minor leagues. But as Shields posted a 6.77 ERA in 22 starts, and Chicago finished 6 games under 500, Tatis was just getting started. In 3 minor league seasons, he hit .280 with an .845 OPS, emerging as MLB Pipeline's number 2 prospect overall. And on opening day 2019, El Nino was deemed ready to be rostered. At 20 years, 85 days old, he went 2 for 3 in his debut, becoming the youngest player to record a multi-hit game in a season opener since a 19-year-old Robin Yount in 1975. Tatis was off and running. In that 2019 season, he launched 22 doubles and stole 16 bags in 84 games. He would have run away with the NL Rookie of the Year honor, but a hamstring issue in May and a back issue that prematurely ended his season in August left him in third place in the voting. The COVID-shortened 2020 campaign further limited Tatis' ability to prove what he could do, but it didn't stop him from posting a .937 OPS and finishing fourth in the NL MVP voting while earning his first Silver Slugger honor at shortstop. The Padres rewarded Tatis with a 14-year, $340 million contract extension, which at the time was the third highest deal in MLB history, behind those signed by Mike Trout and Mookie Betts, and it was the richest ever signed by a player not yet eligible for salary arbitration. It seemed Tatis was on a perfect upward trajectory. Again, literally. During the 2021 season, he seemed to defy the laws of gravity with a so-called double jump catch to rob a hit.
Lined and caught by Fernando! Superhuman! Fernando Tatis Jr. up into the air!
Tatis was an easy choice to become the first Padres player selected for the starting lineup in the All-Star game since Tony Gwynn in 1998. But while that 2021 season would see Tatis bang out an NL leading total of 42 home runs, along with 25 steals, to earn a third-place finish in the MVP voting, it would also include more injury difficulty. Tatis dislocated his shoulder not once but twice, and while rehabbing the second injury, the Padres opted to have him start taking reps in right field to try to preserve his body. Tatis, though, would turn out to be his body's own worst enemy. The following spring, the Padres announced that he would need surgery to repair a fractured left wrist. General manager A.J. Preller alluded to an off-season motorcycle accident as the possible cause of the injury. And when reporters asked Tatis about the accident, he replied, "Which one?" hinting that he had crashed his bike multiple times. Now, Tatis' maturity was being publicly called into question, and the story only got worse in August of that year when Tatis failed a drug test, leading to an 80-game suspension by MLB. Just like that, one of the game's brightest young stars was sullied. Tatis lost a major endorsement deal and gained the dreaded label of steroid cheat.
They basically handed the keys to the castle to him. This is a pattern of immaturity. Last year in the dugout at St. Louis with Manny, going after Bobby Dickerson. At some point, you have to respect the game and respect your teammates.
While Tatis was away, the Padres made his move to right field permanent, inking a blockbuster free agent contract with shortstop Xander Bogaerts. And predictably, after Tatis served the remainder of his suspension at the start of the 2023 season and returned to the Padres, he was treated like a villain by opposing fans. Tatis' fall from grace was as steep as can be for a young superstar. But a funny thing happened in that 2023 season. He emerged as the most gifted right fielder in the game, winning both the Gold Glove and Platinum Glove for his defensive efforts. In 2024, Tatis again dealt with the frustration of injury, missing more than 2 months with leg issues. But in his last 70 regular season games, he slugged .520. Then he went 11 for 26 with 7 extra base hits in the postseason, including 2 home runs in Game 2 of the NLDS. We're seeing a more selective Tatis, who has cut his K rate by more than 7 percentage points and increased his walk rate by more than 4. We're seeing a Tatis who punishes pitches in the heart of the zone, with the highest run value against those pitches of any player in MLB. We're seeing a Tatis with 2 healthy legs, and he's using them to steal bases at will, with one of the highest sprint speeds in the sport. And we're seeing him do all of this while again providing tremendous value in right field. Tatis is a player who earned acclaim, threw it all away, and then came back hungrier. There are those who will never let him forget his transgressions, but he is proving that his natural talent and will to win can carry him back into the limelight. This is the fully realized Fernando Tatis Jr. Enjoy the show.